What's up, guys? Godz back with another video. In this video, we're going to be talking about some of the consoles. I'm going to do a couple of videos. They just finally talked about the PlayStation 4 Slim and the PlayStation 4 Pro. So I'm going to talk about, should you buy the Xbox One S? Because I don't have it. I've got the original. Should you buy the new PlayStation? Should you buy one over the other? So we'll do a couple videos about all that because I think it's good. I think it's good to know about this stuff because as consoles get better and as we go up in the generations and the better versions of each generation, gaming changes. The way it looks, the way it plays, the way it feels. I'll save my opinions about the PS4 for the PS4 video and for the comparison. But for right now, we're just going to talk about the Xbox One S. Now, before we go into the features of it or anything, my personal opinion, I'm not going to upgrade to this. The Scorpio's coming out next year, which is going to be, from what I'm seeing so far, a greater console than any of this stuff that's coming out or out. I'll do a video on the Scorpio when we get more details. We don't really have a whole lot of information right now, but we do have a quote, and it does say that it will end all console generations, which could mean a lot of things. So we'll just have to wait and see how all that goes. But this is the Xbox One S. It's smaller. It looks really cool. It's got some new features. The controller does some new things and everything. So let's get into it. Of course, the starting price is $299, but that's not for the 2 terabyte. That's for, I think, the 500 gig. The 2 terabyte, I think, is $499. Or, well, actually, here we can choose our console, I guess. Okay, yeah, this is the, here you go, 2 terabyte, $449. I don't know if you have to get the Xbox One, Gears of War 4 edition, but, here you go, 500 for the $299, $349 for the 1 terabyte. So yeah, if you want the 2 terabyte, you're going to be paying, you're going to be paying $449 for sure. And then down here you got the original console, which is still $299. I figured it would be a little bit cheaper than that by now, but you got one for $249. But that's the 500 gigs, so you're going to want to buy a bigger hard drive. Me, I have the Western Digital 4 terabyte hard drive that's connected to mine, so I'll have space for days. But it looks awesome. The controller looks good. The console looks good. I've seen it. It is way smaller. I wish I could just have it, but life is life. Maybe when the channel gets a little bit bigger. But let's go back and look at some of the stuff that's inside of it, and I'll explain to you why I don't think you should buy it, or maybe why you should. So we got Ultra HD Blu-ray and streaming 4K. So it does have a 4K Blu-ray drive in it. It's actual 4K. HDR, high dynamic range, 40% smaller, which is, in my opinion, one of the biggest things. And then you can have a 2 terabyte storage. This is great for games nowadays because some games are 50 gigabytes, or more. If you look at Destiny, which is what I normally play on here, man, I think over the whole course of the whole game, I've got like 80 gigabytes, maybe something like that. It's about to go up even more, so around 100. So I mean, that right there, if you had a normal console, that's taking up a fifth of your whole space. So I think that's definitely needed. It's a little expensive, in my opinion. It's better to just go with the one like I've got, because I think it's 4 terabytes, which is double that. It's only about $150. And if you want to, you don't have to just put Xbox games on it. You can use it for other stuff. So it's more versatile, I think, for this. And then, of course, you got this new look. You got the USB down here instead of, I don't think it has them in the back no more. The controller is a little different. We'll talk about that in a little while. One thing I think is cool is the internal power supply. Usually, which I can't get the brick out, but it comes with this big, huge brick. It no longer has a brick. It's finally like the PlayStation always has been. It's got just a cord, which I'm happy about. I think they took out the game DVR to make it smaller. I don't know that for sure, but I think someone said that. But I'm here. We'll leave that alone for right now. I'm not sure about that. But I mean, I guess this kind of gives you an idea of maybe the quality of picture you're going to get, which this is not a 4K monitor and this is not 4K recording. So you're not seeing 4K. So it's kind of, it's funny when people talk about 4K, or actually, you know, when 1080p came out, high definition, people were like, oh, this is the greatest looking thing ever. But if you didn't have a 1080p, you know, HD TV, or your provider wasn't pushing it out, you wasn't getting it. So unless you've got this Xbox One S, a 4K TV, and a 4K game, you're not getting 4K. You're getting upscaled 4K, which is different. So high dynamic range, richer, more luscious colors and stuff like that in the games. This is becoming a norm. This is also in the PlayStation that's coming out, kind of. And I think it's going to be something that goes up as time goes on, as quality and picture gets better. It's just all this stuff's going to get better, and hopefully for a cheaper price. 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray and streaming, which we kind of talked about a second ago. Basically, if you have Netflix in 4K, then you can stream 4K and see it in 4K if you have a 4K TV. If you have a Blu-ray DVD that does 4K, and you've got a TV that does 4K, then you can watch 4K. I think people don't understand that there's a lot of things that go into looking at 4K. If you look at a trailer and it says, ooh, this is in 4K, if your monitor is not 4K, you're not watching 4K. So it's just something to keep in mind. You can't just see 4K. So if you've got like a brand new 4K TV and you're watching Dish or DirecTV or Comcast or whatever, and they're not pushing out 4K yet, that's not a standard thing with them. So if they're not pushing it out, you're not seeing 4K. So it's almost like you think you are, and so you might imagine it's better, but it's really not. Which is why I would say hold off on this console. 4K is not a real big thing in the world yet, so having this hardware is kind of just an expensive, how would you say it, paperweight, unless you have a 4K monitor and you're just watching a lot of movies and things like that, that you know you can get the 4K stuff. The IR blaster's new. You can get, I think, yeah, the range of your controller is farther away now, and you can get it synced up differently. And one of the things that's different about how the controller works now is it's Bluetooth and not what it used before. I can't remember what it was called before. But now, because it's Bluetooth, the connectivity is better and it reacts faster, so you should be able to play better. I've played with a cord and played without a cord, and I don't really see much of a difference in it. But, you know, that's life. Textured grip. For me, my hands sweat, but it doesn't really cause me to lose grip on the controller that much, so it's not that big of a deal for me. Of course, the Blu-ray and increased range. Overall, for me, the only reason to buy this is if you don't have an Xbox One. If you are going from a 360 up, if you get the $299, you pay the same price you would for the original, like the one I've got, and you get better stuff. So if you don't have an Xbox One, yeah, sure, go ahead and get it. If you do have an Xbox One, don't waste your money. Wait till next year when the Scorpio comes out, and much better, greater things are going to happen. I think, of course, they always come out with a Slim. They came out with a couple Slims for the 360, and they are totally obsolete now. And now you've got this coming out, and it has some flashy things about it, and I'll talk a little bit more about the flashier things it may have than the PS4 when we do the comparison video. But for me, there's only one reason to buy it, and that's if you don't have an Xbox One. If you're upgrading, if you've got an Xbox One, just stick with what you got. I don't want you to waste all that money. Go buy you some games to play, because games aren't even really in 4K yet. Certain ones are, but a lot of them aren't. They've been showing a lot of gameplay of Call of Duty Infinite Warfare in 4K. It's not really 4K. It's upscaled 4K. So there's a difference, I promise. So for right now, guys, that's my opinion on it. Agree with it or disagree with it. It is my opinion, and you've got yours, and I'd love to hear them. So in the comments below, tell me what your opinion is. Do you think that you should upgrade to the Xbox One even if you got an Xbox One? Or Xbox One S if you've got an Xbox One? Is there something I missed that maybe would entice me to want to get it? And then, like I said, I'll have the one about the PS4 Slim and Pro coming out, as well as the comparison, and maybe a Scorpio in the coming months as we get new details. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.